I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
And I really want it back. I don't want to feel like I might be a sociopath. I deleted my heart. I was young and impulsive, and I would download another, but I'm afraid it wouldn't fit. I deleted my heart. 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 I deleted my heart.
All right. How's it going today? Man, it has been an interesting one to watch play out. There have been so many meltdowns, so much awesome, and it is all because they wish they may and they wish they might, but they couldn't shut down cans tonight. They tried to. Oh, they tried. They tried hard. How's it going, though? You doing great today? I'm telling you, it has been a fun one to watch. I kind of like watching the meltdowns. I kind of enjoy watching just these insane freakouts because they've become so commonplace, and it's interesting. So the day kicked off with, hey, thank you, by the way. Is that Fallen? 1 second. Let me see that. Hey, thank you, Fallen Hero, by the way. Thank you for the gifted membership. Saw that hit there. Appreciate that. Today started out kind of interesting in the fact that you had all these press junkets kick off, and in one press junket, you had Brie Larson kind of put really front and center. Now, depending on who you ask, really kind of depends on your translation of how things went. With some people saying, Brie Larson actually wasn't giving anything. She actually, didn't go after JD. Other people saying, yeah, she caved ground. It really depends on who you ask. For me, I personally think that she gave enough bait. Let me show you the last answer to it. I mean, you can watch the whole thing, but really the last answer, she basically on a panel, in the middle of a panel, was asked what she thought of JD being there. And during all of that, Yeah, let me show you that. So, hey, Magic Judy, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships too. Thank you for that. I love watching those things fall in. I love seeing people gifted something. That's always cool. So let me pull this up real fast. It'll just take me a minute. I'm setting it right now. It's like a 5-second question or 5 seconds of this, its answer. And now I wanna connect some dots for you too when we pull this up. So, yeah, Brie Larson. And again, Brie Larson, I think it's funny because you could easily spin what happens here as sexism, harassment, anything that you want, because Brie Larson is the only female that you see getting asked any kind of question like this. They could have asked it from a male counterpart or anything else, but they didn't. They chose specifically Brie Larson. They asked her would she be going to the world premiere of JD's film. And now, what you have to remember, this is a panel, first of all, for the jurors at Cannes Film Festival. And I'm actually glad that I think it was a smart move where they did not have this up for any type of award. And the reason that being judged by jurors, because the way that they react, again, just listen, this is a 5-second answer. She's pressed on this, why would you ask this for me? And she gives like I said, this is their little snippet they feed. Why are you asking me that? She gives the I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I'll feel about watching that. Now, again, she deflects a lot, which is good. Now, you can handle things in a few different ways, to be honest. You can handle things as a give me 1 second. You can handle things for their deflection. I thought that was a good way. Like, why the hell are you asking me this? But when she goes along with it, again, she's like, I don't know if I'll go see it or not. And I don't really know how I'll feel about that. Now, that answer, again, some people have been spinning that as, oh man, she kind of held her own. She did it. Not really. No, that's not how I see that. You know, I feel like it was giving these people enough of what they want to say, if nothing else, you took the bait. If nothing else, you give them that. Like, sooner or later, people just need to hold up the middle finger. If you don't want to deal with them, I mean, if you do want to deal with them, that's your prerogative. But if you don't want to deal with them, you just need to hold that middle finger up. You need to hold it up high. You need to tell these people exactly who and what they are. You need to tell them to suck it because they don't matter. They don't. And okay, that came from Variety. Variety has been writing hit piece after hit piece today. I mean, they have been on a roll. And remember, Variety, as I've discussed before, there's something going on with Variety. It's not Variety, it's Penske Media. Ownership there has this need to damage Depp. They have since 2000 and freaking what's 18 earlier. They're the first place to really go out and try to wreck him. You have Penske Media, who owns, amongst other things, they own Rolling Stone. Again, Rolling Stone, first outlet to try to wreck the man. You have Deadline Hollywood, always trying to wreck him as well. IndieWire got into the hit piece game. Variety. I mean, again, when you see all these headlines coming up, people think, oh, that's the regurgitation of headlines. No, it's one narrative being promoted by, you have more fingers on one hand than there are owners of most major outlets. Like that's crazy when you think about it, right? When you think about not just legacy media, but when you think about all of these supposed quote unquote alternative media places, they're all under one roof too. You know, I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. You know, people think about like a Rolling Stone. It trades on a name. Where Rolling Stone, they ain't what they used to be because they are Penske Media. Again, owned by the same company that does this. No wonder they've been doing hit pieces on everyone. I mean, no wonder they come after every single person out there, myself included. I mean, it's nuts. What's up, Tammy? Thanks for 5. Samantha McMillan, stylist for Brie Larson. Nelly cans today. That's interesting, actually. I didn't realize. So Samantha McMillan, that's kind of fascinating. That's an interesting hook in. You know what's another one? I put this in a video today. So the reason that Variety kept saying that they were going at Brie Larson was because of her connection to Time's Up. I mean, it was brought up repeatedly. Here's the actual, let me pull up the article itself. Give me 1 second here. 1 minute. I'm loading it in. Give me a second. All right, there we are. Okay, now in this, they all make a deal out of Time's Up. They say, you know, she was outspoken advocate, and she was a part of the advisory board for Time's Up. Now that's actually kind of a fascinating connection to an AH when you think about it, because Time's Up was a scam, absolutely a scam. It was one of the biggest pushed scams that we have seen out there. It fell apart because of some of the stuff that was happening behind the scenes with it, not because of this scamming portion, which we'll talk about very briefly in just a moment. But remember, the co-founder of Time's Up was Roberta Kaplan. Roberta Kaplan, who was the lawyer to Juicy Smollett, Harvey Weinstein, and also Amber Heard. That's right. Adam Waldman called that out, which was actually kind of funny. But you have Larson on the advisory board with a lot of other Hollywood stars. And, you know, they never called that thing out, by the way. It always disgusts me that it's brought up, and it's brought up in some kind of positive light, because it never was a positive. It never, ever was. In fact, here's the first year. I think that this is really telling about Time's Up. It really tells you what kind of system you had in play. Time's Up, first year, 2018. They pick up $3,670,219. Okay, now out of that, charity watchdog groups say that you should be spending 75% of what you bring in on your stated mission. In this, they're supposed to be actually going out, getting lawyers for people who can't afford them, you know, That's their whole stated mission. 25% is supposed to go to administration. Well, for Time's Up, that inaugural year, 38% of their money went to salaries alone. And most of the salaries, the lion's share, were 3 people, including Roberta Kaplan, ex-lawyer for Amber Heard. Out of that money, to put it into perspective, you had $312,000. Well, $312,001, my bad, go to the stated goal out of $3,670,000. $312,000 actually went to the stated goal, while salary-wise, you had $1.4 million going into salaries. You had over 4 times as much money going to salaries for a stated charity as you did going to the reason it's supposed to be there. You also had the lobbying arm of Time's Up. Time's Up now, they spent $157,000 for conferences. One of those conferences, of course, was a luxury resort and spa. So they spent about half of what they spent on their stated goal. They spent on going to retreats, you know, going and working it out, having fun there, doing whatever. You notice Brie right there, front and center. Of course, none of them ever talked about it. They should have, they should have had to damage control at least. I mean, in this day and age, they should have at least had damage control. They made such a big fucking deal out of this thing. Remember when they started promoting Time's Up? Remember when they hauled it out in front of us like after Me Too had launched, and they were like, Hollywood, Time's Up. They made all these buttons and shit, and nobody understood that it wasn't a hashtag. I didn't know that at all. I didn't realize they were actually repping a company. I thought they were repping a hashtag. It was such a weird sleight of hand, and it worked. Like I said, they pulled millions. In fact, when it went defunct, they had around $20 million in operating funds still. They were talking about how they still had to figure out how to spend that, but nobody wanted to work with them. They got caught behind the scenes in New York. Roberta Kaplan was hired again while you have Time's Up. They had Time's Up, the lawyers there, Roberta Kaplan. They were hired to undermine accusers in the political arena, which is fascinating because Roberta Kaplan is a darling of the legacy media. Roberta Kaplan is part of the Trump trials that went on. So she's a media darling, and everyone just kind of glossed over and forgot. In fact, they pretend that Time's Up is still a worthwhile endeavor. They'll talk about the now defunct advisory board, but they never, ever say anything negative about it. It's like this never happened. It's the craziest thing. It's one of the biggest lies that's perpetrated. Because again, if you call it out, all the people that are attached to it, they lose face. And, they, like I said, they use that as part of bringing up Brie Larson. They were like, but you were part of this noble endeavor. And it's like, it wasn't a noble endeavor. And it's really it's really an own, for anybody that knows. When I saw that, I was like, man, you just wrecked yourself and you wrecked Brie Larson and you don't even realize that you did it. Now, let's see. Fear the Hammers. Fear the Hammers. It's funny. Thanks for the two. Umbrella Guy, what's your accent? It's unique. I am a southern, I'm from the southern United States. So I am a native Tennessean. I've moved around a lot though. I grew up all over the place. So that's normally a lot of Tennesseans will speak like something like this. It sounds like Camelot. I love Camelot, by the way. Love him. You see how his accent is? Like he's an Alabaman, and they have a lot of similarities to our accent, like the speech patterns and stuff. I grew up enough outside that I have a mixed up colloquialisms that come up. For example, I mean, you can still hear certain things. Again, you could hear it, especially if people are from the area. It's just I don't know, like it's not right on, and it's not as slow. I like that about the South, by the way. The South has a very slow tempo. Things are slower out here in the country. Not the city South, but the country. No. Now this has been, like I said, this has been interesting to watch play out, considering all the stuff that was brought up with that. And Brie should know better than to get caught into something like this. I mean, Brie Larson, again, I'm not trying to take a shot. I'm not a fan of Brie Larson. Okay. I think that Brie Larson has made it very clear. Let me just cut through bullshit. I think Brie Larson has used victims in very negative ways. I think she's used it for self-gain too. I think that she has weaponized a lot of shit out there. I'm not a fan. Having said that, in this situation, I'm not trying to go after Brie Larson. She took bait, though. She should have known better. Because, again, anybody who thinks that this stuff can't damage like that, they need to remember what we had. You remember Mr. Saffron. You remember one of the then producers of Aquaman, but now one of the two people in charge of DC. Remember when he decided to talk about we don't listen to the Twitterverse. You remember all of that stuff when he was out and supposed to be promoting the Suicide Squad? You remember how that went? That went very negative. Now I'm not going to say that that's the sole reason that Suicide Squad had its problems. Again, we had the beer bug to thank for a lot of stuff, but it didn't help. It didn't help at all. His name, most people had never heard it. Bam. Ask Aquaman 2. Look at all of the stuff that happened with with your supposed savior of the Harry Potter franchise. I mean, look, that whole thing, it went to bed after all of that. So again, yeah, and Disney, I'm sure, doesn't want this. Disney's flagship enterprise is Marvel movies, the MCU. The MCU is not what it was before either. It is languishing comparatively. You have successes, but you have failures now. And the MCU didn't have failures until recently. I mean, yeah, they make money, but remember what they've got to make to succeed. And some of these movies aren't succeeding. Brie has a big movie coming up, a big movie. And that movie, they've got a lot invested in it, a lot. So again, taking that bait, it's not a smart move. I mean, there are ways that you could handle this. The boss, let me give me 1 second. The boss cans, actually, a couple of days ago, he did really well with handling some of this stuff. He said a few things on there, but he noted, for example, and this, I actually thought this worked. He said, I don't know about the image of Johnny Depp in the United States. To tell you the truth, in my life, I only have one rule. It's the freedom of thinking and the freedom of speech and act within the legal framework. If Johnny Depp had been banned from acting in a movie or the film was banned, we wouldn't be here talking about this. But it wasn't. This controversy, it came up once the film was announced at Cannes. He said, going on, he said, I'm the last person to be discussing all of this. If there's one person in the world who didn't find the least interest in the very publicized trial, it's me. I don't know what it's about. I care about Johnny Depp as an actor. He then went on to talk about how if people wanted to really ask why this movie existed here, they should ask the person that's responsible for it. A female, by the way. And I can tell you why. Because her family was dragged through the mud. Her ex-husband was accused, and when he was accused, now there was supposed to be investigations, legal action. Yeah, none of that. None of it exists now. It's all dropped. It's all gone. But in the meanwhile, she had her family targeted, her kid targeted. And I don't know if you've ever looked at a tabloid outside of the United States, or what they consider media outside, or paparazzi outside of the United States. Do you think the United States is bad? Oh man. I mean, it is horrible. It is horrible outside of the US. I mean, it's just boggling to see the rumor mill, the nastiness, the vitriol. And they went after her family, not necessarily her, but they did target her as part of it. Her name came up again and again, but her kid, just like with JD. So yeah, you understand why she didn't bow down to the media and actually kick him to the side, because she dealt with the same thing. She knew it. She understood it. She was smart, and bravo to her. Bravo. You've also had, so the movie went over resoundingly. You wouldn't know that, by the way, from looking at the media. You wouldn't know how the reception was, but the reception of this was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. You had standing ovations. I mean, look, I started making fun of Variety, calling them a shill outlet. I've been making fun of them all day long, talking shit. I mean, just straight up. You know what they did after 8 hit pieces? I found this timing to be really odd. Myself and a lot of other people, we were like, yeah, you guys are frauds. You are frauds. You have a you have agenda. Oh wait, they report on a standing ovation. I guess they're feeling a little bit of that pressure when people are making fun of them for being out and out. I mean, they are the PR for Amber Heard. They were like, oh my God, we better stop because people are seeing us. It's so funny. Even when Variety is forced to be like, yo, I mean, 7-minute standing ovation. Wouldn't they have to report that? Oh, it must hurt. It hurt them in the feels. I love it. Oh, there are days when it's just good to get out of bed. You know what I'm saying? Good stuff. Hey, Skyman, thanks for the 10 there. Respect for Brie. She didn't offend JD, but she said they will know if she goes to see JD's movie. As what she thinks, she can't say. She hasn't seen the movie yet. Has the clip? Yeah. I've seen the clip. I mean, the clip's there. The clip's out there for anyone to see. And like I said, you can translate that. The thing was the way that Brie Larson handled it, again, she gave them bait. Like she handled it at first. She went perfectly with it. Perfectly at first. It's like, why the hell are you asking me that? Again, I'm translating, but it was like why are you asking me? How does this fit in? What does this mean? And then she gave them enough, just enough where they could use it for something. You know, the middle finger she was holding up, the why the hell? Like, what are you trying to do here? Again, that's good play. She 100% was playing it well. The thing that they, again, you cannot give these weirdos any room. You have to put them in their place. You can. It's so nasty. I mean, they are nasty. They are a machine that they've decided to feed on. Not just. Usually, they feed on controversy. They feed on hurting people. But again, this specific machine, this specific media company, they've been doing this attack, this specific one for minimum 5 years. Again, Rolling Stone, I've talked about them, and you remember Variety is the outlet that asked the question. So when they're reporting, they're the ones that put that forward too, because they're on this attack path. They're trying. They are running hard PR. Again, there's some stuff with ownership. I've heard some fascinating stuff that explains things. I also wonder about PR money being PR shills. I wonder exactly what they get out of that as well. I mean, it went well beyond just a PR campaign. Again, they're the ones who 2000 and like I said, I think it's 2018 when they dropped the article just trying to destroy the man's life. They went after Adam Waldman, calling him a Russian plant. They went after them for years, trying to wreck them. And then they went after anyone that would support. They went after them in the courtroom. And the day of the decision, they dropped the famous or infamous "Men Always Win" article. On top of that, they've gone after him. They haven't stopped. I mean, this company, God, it's astounding to look at. It's when they go beyond anything else. It's absolutely unreal to see them push AH. And it always makes you ask, why? Why do that? Nikki M, thank you for the 1 month there. There's not a statement attached, but thank you for that. Now, like I said, it was weird seeing them put this, even with this, though. You notice they've got to make sure to work in Amber. They got to push her in there somehow. You notice that? I think it's amazing. Like they're like, oh, well, we have this article here. We still gotta throw that in. They gotta throw in the idea of controversy. They talk about, again, talking about the woman responsible for this movie, by the way. I mean, again, you want to see people try to destroy her too. Remember that she is, quote unquote, a center of controversy because the outlet that tried to destroy her family, she was accused by the police of an incident in which the editor-in-chief of Mediapart, again, they had targeted her forever. She was accused of going up to them while he was eating with a lawyer, grabbing him by the hair, spitting in the face. You can see where they're talking about this. It says that she allegedly went up to the table, grabbed him by the hair, and spit in their face. I mean, you see again, look at all this stuff that's attached to this article. Oh, we got a 7-minute ovation, by the way. How do you go from people clapping and having a standing ovation to trying to wrap things up? And notice the guy who worked for Mediapart spoke exclusively to Variety on this subject. Again, he felt comfortable enough going to the outlet that also owns Rolling Stone, that also owns Deadline Hollywood, IndieWire, and more, and being like, yeah. And look at what I mean. This is a man that has been attacking a woman, and look at how he spins this. Okay, this aggression caused more stupor than anything else. She didn't aggress me individually, but the symbol I represent as the founder and director of a journal which in France has been the forefront of all Me Too revelations. Attacking a woman with that. Astounding, isn't it? We are the flagship to Me Too. It's like, what the? Oh my God. Again, I'm not, I feel like I need to say this every time. I am not endorsing violence against people. I do wonder in this world, though, what do people expect from folks? If you target people's families, their kids, you try to destroy their damn lives, people snap. I'm surprised you haven't seen something truly volatile. Not a woman going up and grabbing somebody by the hair and spitting in their face, but something truly volatile, some real violence. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Because there is none of these outlets, they pay no price for any of this. They pay no price for false accusations. They could say whatever they want, and then they could turn around like the Washington Post. They still have the article that a court ruled was defamation. They still have it published. And the way that they word the decision, they try to make it sound like, well, but the decision went with her and it was a split. No. The key component to that decision, by the way, is the fact that if he's defamed, the jury is saying that he was not an abuser. They looked at all that information. If they would have thought that he was even verbally abusive, they wouldn't have given it to him, because that would have made it all okay. So for them to keep it back up again, none of these outlets pay. In fact, they regurgitate this shit. Like, you have a Variety that's attacking everyone. Again, Brie Larson is a fucking juror at Cannes that isn't even required to see the movie. And she gets singled out by Variety to say, well, you say you're an advocate. Prove it. That's what they were saying. Prove it. And there's a threat behind that. Like I said, I understand giving them a little taste of something. A little bit. I get it. but I would be incensed by that. It would piss me off because there's an implied threat in what they do with that. The implied threat is they shill hard for Brie Larson. Every sorry ass movie that comes up from Marvel, they shill it hardcore. They shill Brie Larson like she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And yeah, the implied threat is, what do we do if you don't do what we want? So I get it, but it's nasty business. Like, remember, they're just supposedly, we hear about journalistic integrity all the time. We hear it from people like Kat Timbarge. They're just out there reporting facts, right? No, they're sculpting narratives. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And again, even they have to admit, 7-minute ovation. It pisses them off. It so much does. You have, like, when you look up Johnny Depp, this is what you get with all of that going on. You want to feel how the media represents. This is just the random. Give me 1 second. This is the random search return on Brave. This is not Google. This is Brave, but it shows you how the search results are on this. You have, the standing ovation. Then why is it called a slap in the face? You see how, look, he gets applause 1 year after the trial and so on. I mean, you see how they play it too, They also, again, they're going after, here's the exclusive. This is what I love about that. This is the exclusive here, going after the director. Check this out. And I applaud her for being this, by the way. I absolutely applaud this. Journalists spit on, but Johnny Depp can director speaks out. That one is outspokenly anti-Me Too. That is a kill piece right there. That is trying to take you out. They don't tell you why. Again, they don't make it clear that all this time, would you endorse a system? Like, say you went to, let's just say your life was destroyed by the judicial system. Would you endorse the judicial system? If you had been abused by police, do you think would you be like, yay, the blue? I mean, no. So why the fuck would somebody expect this? And again, what's amazing to me about this is a woman that has made a decision in her life based on all of this BS that's been thrown at her, mostly by men, by the way. The men are carrying these banners, calling themselves, they represent justice for women. And when they don't get what they want, they'll burn a woman's life down. Amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing. Not surprising. This is the underbelly of that. Like, I want people to understand two things out of stuff. Johnny Depp's, his win with this, and he is winning big. I mean, I say that in stuff. Some people are like, that's clickbait. That is not fucking clickbait. Dude just pulled down a historic. He pulled down it. First of all, in court, he pulled down an historic win. We've never seen anything like that where a dude actually gets justice televised. We've never seen somebody reverse the odds ever happen. If you don't buy that, you say, oh, that's not that big. Okay, well, he set down a historic freaking deal with Dior. $20 million, 3 years, the closest thing to ever be close to, anything close to that. Pattinson, he pulled down a $12 million deal. So you have Depp almost double that. And that's because he has made so much money for Dior as his slow. All the different, there's kind of a beauty in only one advertiser sticking with the man, because you could actually measure the level of success. See, typically they could have talked about failure. They actually are helping bring back Depp. The media, the thing that tried to destroy him, because I want you to think about this. If they wouldn't have gone after every single advertiser that he had, if more of them would have stood there, we would not be able to gauge success like we can with that one thing. And that one thing, since it was the only thing out there, people pumped money into it to make sure they voted with their wallet, and they voted loudly. So when all these places were screaming bots, 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 yeah, those bots spend money apparently. When they were saying 4.6 million people signing a petition, those can't be real people. Well, I think the finances spoke, and they spoke very loudly. That's the people you need to hit too. See, Variety, Deadline, all these places hit on something yesterday that is a very good point. They didn't want to admit this, but they did incidentally. They admitted that Dior gives permission to movies and other places. They give all these places permission to have Depp there. They're not just the first. It's not them doing it because they're an advertiser. Advertisers are much different than putting out an entertainment commodity. I mean, if you're putting out that commodity, yes, it may fail, might not. With an advertiser, you know if it succeeds or not. And it resoundingly succeeded. All of the other places you've been able to measure because they've been single serving. Like MTV, single serving. You didn't have anything else going on at the time, so you could gauge success right there. So again, the media, all of these places, they destroyed this man's life. But at the same time, in limiting his options, they created a provable avenue to success. And Cannes is part of that. So when I say that the man is winning, this is fucking something that you can measure, not in ovations. You measure it in dollar signs. Likes. They don't, from your peers, this doesn't mean a lot. Okay. It means something, but you know who it means something from? It Cannes. You know what that means something? Because you have more than just your peers giving accolades. You have audiences. You have the public. And the public, again, they've spoken with money. Anytime they've been able to participate in any kind of endeavor, they've been there. They've sold out places, musical endeavors. They've sold out artistic endeavors, sold out. Again, this is a provable blueprint that says success, resounding success. It's amazing. I never thought that the very things that they did would make a comeback so chartable. I never thought that, and they never did either. They never thought that places would stand up to them either and be like, "Fuck it, I don't care what you say." Now again, Cannes, they've danced the subject. They've been like, I only care about the artist, and this. Like, I would love one of them just to stand up and be like, "Fuck you, he's innocent." I mean, that would be beautiful. I would love the hailstorm because the media they'd be like, "Oh no, how dare they?" And all these weirdos. But you know who would hear you? The people whose wallets they speak. Like, that's the only noise you should be worried about. And a lot of these places are figuring that out. Right now behind the scenes at Cannes, see, when they see articles like this, you know who sees it? People that are buying commodities there. And you know what commodities being shopped right now? JD's return to directing. He's had a 25-year hiatus. He's doing a new film. He has Al Pacino on board, and they're looking for distributors. They're looking to sell that package. And you know what? He's going to make bank. He is going to make bank. At his age, you don't see people restart. Like, that was always a worry that I had, that this trial, it will age you. I mean, we can't even fathom what it's like on there. I can fathom what it's like to be accused of something. I mean, I've been called horrible shit from the weirdos out there. They've tried to, I can understand what that's like, but I can't understand it on the level of having everything I do. I do remember like having a job and everything. These people did try to take out my job. And I know how stressful that was. But if they did that, I could still find other employment. JD, you don't come back from what they said. You don't come back from what they did. Every eye saw him. So the thing that I was worried about was the fact that that would be soul crushing. That would age you inside to the point that you couldn't continue on. That hasn't been the case, though. It hasn't been the case. I mean, the man at his age here, and I applaud him for that. I don't mean that as any negative. At his age, art. At his age, music. At his age, I mean, again, you're talking about stuff that most 20-year-olds they can't do 3 freaking career paths at once. And you have the man not again. Everything he's doing right now is a resounding success. Cans just put that in front of the world. Like I said, it's beautiful. Tomorrow I'm going to do a laugh track. You know who I'm going to make fun of? Eve Barlow. I'm going to do a video making fun of her because she's been throwing a shit fit. Variety put, quotes in there. Let me show you something here. Susan, thanks for the 2. What's up, Susan, by the way? Love to see you there. I love when their own stupidity bites their arses off. Indeed. I love it. I love seeing it. I love seeing something happen that they don't anticipate, because again, you've seen what they think. Here, I'm pulling up this stuff, by the way. You just have to give me a minute because I got to open up a browser and pull up a couple of things for you. But they think that they are the arbiters of truth, the creators of truth, as it were. They don't define something. Like when you see it, they don't just tell you, yeah, this is what we've been looking at. They translate it and they tell you what it looks like. They try. Meanwhile, you have the interviews. I mean, you can see like JD was in a good spot. Let's see. Here's one of the interviews that went on today. Let me pull this up while I'm doing this. Here we go. Give me 1 second.
Let you. I was hiding my teacher, my French teacher. Yes. When I agreed to do the film and started to dissect sort of French to regal French of the monarchy.
Donc j'ai essayé de évidemment traduire le français un petit peu monarchique et donc j'ai essayé de
look at the turnout around there. Look at all the eyes on the prize paying attention to the man. He looks like he's in good shape right now too.
Faire en sorte d'atteindre ce niveau, que ce soit palpable donc pour les Français. Alors donc pour Mawen, comment ça s'est passé en tant que réalisatrice?
You see all the people turning out. Photograph again. His interview. I look at it. I expected something to wear someone down like a millstone. You know what I mean? Like this kind of stuff. Again, you're talking about soul crushing, like I was saying. The kind of stuff that destroys people. And yet, I mean, again, he seems to be in good spirits. He seems to be enjoying this stuff, enjoying the resounding success that it all is. Like I said, I think that it says plenty. Give me a second. I wanted to show you though the way that things have been promoted today. Again, like this is a story that has not died out because you don't just have the man succeeding, which is funny, but you have him succeeding in spite of. So here's Variety today too. Check this out. They were quoting Eve Barlow today. Again, tomorrow, you better believe I'm making a damn Eve Barlow video. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling this. So here, give me 1 minute. I'm pulling up a piece of a quote there. Somebody actually gave that to me. Props to you. You know who you are. If you want credit, let me know too. But props. So here, Here's Variety. Again, they're quoting AH on the day. They're trying to bring up, any negative. But you see, like, they're trending. Cans you not? The dumbest hashtag I've ever heard, by the way. Have you ever? I mean, I hear stupid things come up, but cans you not? I mean, come on. But look, Eve Barlow, journalist, activist, and close friend of AH. You know what's funny? They always tell me that isn't by their own definition, again, the people they shout down, they call anybody that interviews with a Fox News, for example, or anything, they're alt-righters, right? That's what they always say. Wouldn't that be Eve Barlow? Isn't that interesting? uh, they love old Eve, even though, again, like a lot of the talking points and stuff, they would call you mine, and they keep telling people, right wing, but right there, that's funny. Again, Variety has been they've been doing everything they can. This is part of their. So let me see if I can find that article. It's pretty funny. They've been trying to promote the idea that there is this severe backlash. And it's like, where is that backlash again? Like, where is it? Is it hiding somewhere? Is it hiding under a rock and I can't find it? I mean, what's going on with it? Because again, they were promoting the cans you not. They were saying that was some major blowback online. Like I said, they got to the point where when they did that, so here, this is Variety in the aftermath. Okay, they realized their narrative wasn't working so well, so they ended up the ovation that he received. Yeah, I'm going to show you their timeline just to show you how this goes, and I'll show you their snippet of the ovation as well. So here's that, by the way. I mean, look, here you go. This tells you about the way that this goes over. Like, you're not talking about just some cheap theatrics saying, welcome back. I mean, this is an ovation that keeps going on for 7 fucking minutes. This is a welcome back, baby. We missed you. We're not going to get 7 minutes. We're going to watch this for 7 minutes. It just gives you the idea. I'm telling you, like that audience right there, there's more clap right there than saying a Singapore whore. No way, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say a Singapore whorehouse. More clap there. Oh, Lord. Anyway, there's a lot of applause though, right? More clap there. She'll be apples. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships on that. It is good though. I mean, for real. Like looking at Variety's timeline too. You want to see? So, I got to jump forward a little bit. Okay. So we gotta roll over a few things here, but you'll notice, okay, right here, this is where the narrative kind of starts having a problem. All day they've been going after the man. Then look, so many people notice it. They kick this out 3 times. They're like, oh my God, look, because they know, oh man, this gets 215,000 impressions on it. You have 17,000 on that. People actually give a shit there. I mean, before when they're promoting, whatever. This is also why they stay with it, because they get 12 likes with this, maybe 40 with, something else dealing with like an Alec Baldwin. But with JD, when they be going out, yeah, it's so funny. They are one of the outlets that try to go and be like, oh, him, yeah, he's decent. All these other outlets are giving like minimal 4 to 5 stars. You have just drove of them talking about his performance. He did stellar. It actually worked out well. And they're like, yeah, it was all right. It's like, are you lying sacks of duck crap? Oh my God. Like they can't stand it. So they noticed the fact that the hate, it isn't, you can try to make it sound like the hate exists. If you look on Twitter isn't real though. Twitter has some real elements, and Twitter can indeed be used to destroy your damn life. It definitely is a battleground, and one that has to be, one that you have to treat seriously. But it is not indicative of real life. The people who are out there trying to wreck your life, they ain't got any money. Like these people, all they do all day is sit around and try to destroy people's lives because they ain't got shit. They hate everybody. They hate everything. And the reason they hate is because, of course, here's the article. So when they started out the day, this is what it looked like, by the way, from Variety. I'm picking on Variety because they deserve it. This was 7 hours ago. Oh, as Johnny Depp acting comeback opens at Cannes, Amber Heard supporters are slamming the festival. This is look, there's Eve Barlow in it too, and they're getting no traction with that shit. People don't. I mean, they're like, yeah, whatever. Now, for me, I'm gonna laugh at it again. I'm gonna give you a fun little laugh track for tomorrow, laughing at Barlow because I enjoy it. That's fun. I mean, it's fun watching their salty anger turn into nothing because they just keep losing. I mean, man, if I lost so much like that, no wonder she quit the game for so long. No wonder Amber quit her. If that was my PR, I'd be like, psh, I'm gonna quit you too. I mean, wait, what? That's sad. Sad panda. Sad panda. Mazza, thanks for the 10 there. Happy birthday. Missed your live stream to celebrate. Thank you. Yeah, birthday was yesterday. Thank you. Appreciate that. And hope you had a great one. Also, Colonel Kurtz in the chat. Hey, Colonel Kurtz, props to you. I enjoyed the conversation with her. By the way, before I forget this, next Wednesday, I will be on with Camelot on his channel. I'm going to go on Camelot's show. That boy, I'm going to give him some love real quick. That boy has checked on me over and over again for months, being like, yo, man, are you all right? Giving love. I appreciate it. We were talking about setting up something, and I appreciate that. But I've been trying to get back to live streaming. I had fun. I finally talked to Colonel Kurtz. That'd been a long time in the making. That finally happened the other day. That was actually really good for her 24-hour live stream. You can check that out. There's a video on her channel breaking that stuff down. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Props to you. Gloria, thanks for the 10 there too. Here's to that Singapore joke, and for Baby Umbrella's candy fun. Thank you. Team Depp just keeps winning. Best day ever. There's a heck of a lot of screaming for Casa de Caca. Yeah, indeed. Casa de Caca. Huh? Listen to this. I like that. That's really funny. Oh, my wife too sent me a positive one. She'll listen. She's just being positive. This is what it's like. This is so nice. She sent me a, hey, I love you. Just telling you that. Thank you for being an awesome, amazing father and Iran. I was like, oh, that's nice. That's good. It popped up. I was watching my chat, and it came up. I watched my chat on the phone. So. I'm like, man, I could go the Han Solo. I'd be like, yeah, no. It's hilarious. No, it's good though. It's good to have positivity in your life. A friend, as well as somebody that you care about, but also a friend, man. It's your best friend should be somebody that you spend your time with like that. And I've been fortunate. Here's the blowback. So listen to this. They try to make it. This is how they try to make everything sound. Cans you not. Amber Heard supporters slam cans for celebrating abusers ahead of Johnny Depp's opening night. So again, this is what they were doing before it. And now you see how they've changed. New social media campaign with hashtags Can You Not is calling out Cannes Film Festival for celebrating abusers for 76 years. The campaign was launched online days before by supporters, by PR people. Let's be real, man. This is a PR fucking push. It is desperate, very desperate, and it is meaningless. I mean, you have clowns like, say, Proudman's out there trying to push this stuff. And it's astounding to see, considering, again, they are backing an abuser. It's like, oh, they're proudly backing an abuser since 2016. You know, when JD decided he was going to leave. Because apparently telling a sociopath no, yeah. At the end of the day, telling your abuser and a narcissist, telling that person no, that's apparently abuse. You know, it's just amazing. No means no, unless you're a man who's being abused. Then I guess you're a monster. It's like, what? That doesn't even make sense. You can tell, though. I mean, this is ridiculous because they're like, Eve Barlow, she did it. Cannes seems proud of their history supporting rapists and abusers. She posted with the French expression, let's whatever. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Oh, listen to the seals slapping their fins. That's what it is. They remind me of that. I can see them. They're not clapping. They're like seals slapping fins. They're like, or. They get the PR fishies. So amazing. So amazing. They also, look, you can tell that these are PR fucking shills. Why? Because they go to the point that they're like, I wonder if we can find somebody that supports Amber. Oh, look, we found Leave Heard Alone. Fucking nobody. Like, at least Barlow is connected there. I mean, you talk about fucking, like, transparent PR. Oh, see you, Variety. Oh, you can see them for exactly what they are. Again, they held out right until all of this comes up. Again, they hijacked Brie Larson. They did all of this stuff. And then they're like, well, this random jackass out here on Twitter, this is what they have to say. Oh, it's like, are you kidding me? Look at this. Look at this. So check this out here. Here, let me pull this up. I got excited. I started reading this stupid. So listen to this stuff, though. So here this is. I can't believe that. I was just going to read you some of it, laugh at it. But I mean, just check this out here. So you had them start out. They quote Eve Barlow, like we had talked about before. But then this is the way they go. Along with her caption, she posted pictures depicting abusers, including Roman Polanski, Harvey Weinstein, Woody Allen, Gerard. I don't know what Gerard Depardieu did. I'm not familiar with that one in there. So out of that, again, Polanski, know very well. Woody Allen, know very well. Harvey Weinstein, know very well. Amber Heard. Oh, wait. You know why Amber Heard's not included in that? It's because nobody would invite her to fucking Cannes. Because what is she going to do? I mean, unless Eve Barlow is bringing in a bag of box wine for everybody. I mean, really, what would be the point in having her there? I mean, that's the thing. You know, another reason she's probably really salty, because before JD was like, yo, I'm hitting the skids here. I'm out. She used to get invited to the real gala. She was actually in the middle because she's a D-list actress. She was hired for looks. That's the only thing. When you hear these Amber Heard simps bringing her up, They call her mommy and shit. And they talk about how beautiful she is all the time because that's it. They don't talk about how great her acting ability is, you know? Because I swear, like, really, we could do who did it better. I could take a Sharpie, draw some eyes and a mouth on a cardboard box. And I'm telling you, it would give a run to Amber Heard as far as line delivery is concerned. I swear, like a dumb rock could probably do better. That's right, a dumb rock, not a smart one. A dumb rock. I had a pet rock that delivered lines better. See. But she was hired, again, look, she got right there. I mean, again, that's got to suck for somebody that craves the spotlight, craves the attention, especially since JD's getting it again. All these folks, they thought they were cutting to the head of the line, and they did for a little while. Amber Heard got the spotlight when she went out and wrecked Depp. She got the spotlight when she was with him in a relationship. She got the spotlight when she was predatorily going after him after abusing him. She still got the spotlight by basically taking other people's abuse stories. I would say including Johnny Depp's. If we take a lot of the stuff he says in the courtroom and we relate it, yeah, it sounds like somebody else is regurgitating. Again, only one person ended up missing a finger in the relationship. I wonder who that is. But she ends up getting the spotlight there. So for years, she had an undeserved spotlight on her. For years. And now it's faded. Again, no work since 2021. And really, even before that, she was keenly aware that Warner Brothers didn't want her back. In fact, I've come to the conclusion lately that that's the reason why she started threatening them behind the scenes. She knew that she wasn't going to get any more work. She knew that Warner Brothers wasn't going to bring her back. They didn't want her back for Aquaman. She may have had her sycophants around her telling her that was going to succeed, but the writing on the wall was millions of people were speaking out. That was going to fail, and I'm sure Warner wasn't happy behind the scenes. They're probably like, you need to shut the fuck up and stop talking. I'm sure that some people were probably like, yeah, thanks for ruining Fantastic Beasts for us, too. We backed you there. Look what that got us. Thank you. Thank you, Ezra Miller. Now she sees Depp. And it's not an artificial spotlight. He didn't have to lie. He didn't have to do anything. He made this happen. And it's funny. Okay, this struck me as really entertaining today. Barlow, when she's been out there, she's been trying to not only get Cans to pay attention, but she was also trying to get L'Oreal again. Check this out. I thought this was really funny. Give me 1 second. She's like, it's encouraging to see that there is reporting and backlash on the perpetrator's attendance at Cannes. I didn't know Amber was there. What would be even more encouraging is if the landscape was fair enough that Amber Heard could be there as a L'Oreal ambassador. Please, L'Oreal, please. She can't get there for acting. Maybe she could get there. I didn't realize Cannes was I didn't realize they gave you awards because you could put on makeup. I didn't realize that's what it was about. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. And Steven, thanks for the $2, by the way. No statement attached, but plenty of statement back. Thank you, man. I mean, really. What is that? Yeah. I thought that was really funny, though. I thought that was hilarious. They're like, please. Like this, again, organized PR. Because at the end of the day, Depp had, let's see, his resounding success. I mean, I don't know. I love the laugh track. I think it's funny. I think it's I think it has been entertaining to watch this Hindenburg crash. And you knew it would. See, AH has not been able to, I'm pulling up something for you here. AH has not been able to do anything as far as keeping friends around, You know, when you look at what's happened in the last few years, one of the things that stands out is that, you know, everybody that has been on our side, they have all been canned. Give me 1 second here. You have all these outlets too that are giving, you know, again, they're giving 4.5 stars. Here, Laura B has been posting a lot of this. Props to Laura B, by the way. Let me pull this up here. She also has more video, which we'll pull up too. 1 second. I mean, when you look at the reviews, I mean, again, 4.5 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, and it continues like that. It's 4 to 5 stars. Like you have very few middling reviews, as they were. You have very few places that are saying, you know, that didn't go so well. I mean, you don't see places saying that. Instead, I mean, you see stuff like this. Check this out here. Give me 1 minute.
Des discours simples,
Yeah.
c'est ce qu'elle a dit dans la
Like,
presse.
oh, look at that.
Johnny Depp,
Like, hear the applause pick up.
le rôle titre.
Notice that. Watch, listen.
C'est ce qu'elle a dit dans la presse.
They have regular.
Johnny Depp,
Depp. Does it pick
le
up?
rôle titre du film Jeanne du Barry,
Louis XV.
d'ouverture. Melville Poupeau,
He looks thrilled and slightly embarrassed. It's like, you know, it's because at the end of the day, I'm sure that it felt like everything. I'm sure it felt like everything would fall apart. I'm sure. And, you know, the media, like Frank Riblin said, you know, the media, they're like, Depp controversy. Depp, I mean, he's swarmed by fans. He's greeted positively. He gets standing ovations. Yeah, maybe the media, maybe that explains why they're failing. Because their interpretation of reality isn't the reality the rest of us live in. Yeah. Oh, it's unreal. Like when you look at the turnout too, it looks like this. So picture wise, I mean, when you look at fans, it's, I mean, everywhere. Like the people are there greeting Johnny Depp. They're there for that. They're there to support. And nobody, making this very clear, they want, you know, you have all these weirdos, whack jobs in the media. They want to say, well, you know, these are people that are supporting an abuser because he's known this way or that way. No. You think in the climate that we have in this day and age, with all the accusations you saw in 2018, you can actually rewind. I did this in early videos, you know, before the UK trial. I did this. I went in and I pointed out the hashtags going after him. And you had tens of thousands of likes, hundreds of thousands of hits on things that were trying to cost him his job. They were trying to cost him his life. You know, trying to take away everything. And they were doing a damn good job of it, just to be honest. They were out for blood. And again, they were doing a damn fine job of taking down this guy. Because that's what they wanted to do. What's up, oh, Camelot? What's up, Camelot? I was giving you some love earlier, my friend. Thanks for the $10 there. Weekly love and snug. That'll be nice. I love it. But for real, in Camelot, again, we're going to be I finally get to be on a stream. Just me and Camel. I think that'll be fun. I think we'll come again. It'll be next Wednesday, 8:30. So you need to be there for sure. I'm looking for another article as well. You also, on top of this, so here's another thing that's coming up. On top of all of that, you have another item that is going to be well received. That is the Tim Burton documentary. You're going to have Tim Burton documentary. It's going to feature JD, Linda Bonham Carter, Winona Ryder. They had Jenny Ortega. I mean, that new edition, maybe that speaks to a lot more people. For me, though, when I think Tim Burton, I think about classic Tim Burton. That's what I grew up on. It's what I saw, and I think about those days. I think about Winona Ryder, Johnny Depp, and of course, Helena Bonham Carter has been in every freaking thing. So, of course, she'd come up in there. But this is yet another thing that's coming up that's being advertised within all of this, and you'll notice here. What's that say? Oh, their 5th season, the company there is handling global sales at Cannes. So Cannes is a marketplace for Depp right now. He is such a hot commodity that you have all of this stuff. Again, I don't know how to tell you that a person is coming back. Money is what says that somebody is coming back. I mean, when you see the exchanges of finances to that level, that's what tells you. And again, there are 4 projects, I think, that are trading on his name right now at Cannes. 4. It's interesting because I would say that there is as much interest in him right now as there was at his highest points in his career. Because Pirates, okay, he became a worldwide success story during that. And he became a worldwide success story again because he cleared his name. He did it people saw him as a survivor. They saw him as a human being during that trial. They saw him unmasked and they embraced it. That was a very dangerous thing, too, to be honest, because, he trades on in roles like, say, Black Mass. He trades on masculinity. And it's not masculine to be a survivor. It's a dangerous thing. But he did it anyway, and he did it with his success. The world saw him. The world, they enjoyed him. He himself made an impression as a human being. And they were horrified by what he went through. And that, clearing his name in front of the world, and doing it so resoundingly, again, that has made him bigger. I wonder if he's, as far as name recognition and stuff, I wonder if his name would become more recognizable with that than it was at the high point of his career. I think he's a hotter commodity. He's as hot a commodity as Pirates in its heyday, when he, again, was on the worldwide stage. And that's crazy. Look what he had to do for it, though. It's fucking crazy. Never seen anything like it. Never. And props to all of you, too. Because you know what? This has been a long ride. But people have been there. Bot Goblin. I said Bat Goblin. Bot Goblin. I love that name, by the way, Bot Goblin. Never change it. Thanks for the 9 months, Tuggernauts. Will you partake in Fight Milk on Camelot Show? You wouldn't even know it. I could just say, you know what? I need to get an avatar made where it's got some Fight Milk, for that. Dead Punk, we need to talk. We do. Oh, Mazza, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for that. And another 5 gifted memberships. That's amazing. And another gifted membership. Thank you. 11 gifted memberships off of that. Thank you, Mazza. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Look at these. These are your reviews, though. These are some of the places. Again, these were the early reviews. You had Laura putting out 5 stars, 5 stars. You see all the places with 4 stars. And then there was just this list of places. Again. And you got to remember, these are critics. We're not talking places that are, like me. I know what I like, and sometimes if I were to give some, I'd be like, "Ooh, that's a masterpiece." Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be a masterpiece, but critically, this was embraced. Now, after all the damage that the media tried to do, all of the ugliness, all of the nastiness, the vitriol, all of that they tried throwing desperately his way. And that they spread all these crazy rumors about how his performance, he was a monster behind the scenes, all this just weird shit. And it wasn't real. I mean, it wasn't real in the end. It was all a lie. You could see too, Stephen Deuters actually made a statement. I thought was a good statement on this as well. Give me a second. He said, tomorrow marks the culmination. This was yesterday. Okay. So tomorrow marks the culmination of 3, perhaps 4 years of work. This group of individuals who fought one another in the darkness and sought to drag something beautiful into the light. Film is collaborative art. Thank you. Of course, I thank the director and every single person involved in the making of exceptional film. This went over well. I mean, it went over really well. Again, you have this, like places like Variety, they try to make it sound like there's this engagement, this war going on social media in which the simps, they somehow have taken control. But in reality, look at what's really there. I mean, they're not lording over anything. Again, this is bigger than any kind. I mean, I expected, to be honest, the comeback is bigger than I thought it would be. I thought he would have a comeback. He would do well, but I didn't think the explosion would look like it does now. I mean, he has exploded. I thought he would hammer out something. I thought he would, continue to piece together, making something of some. But again, I never thought that you would see this come together like that. Give me a second. I'm opening something here. I mean, remember, on top of all of that, you had, again, 3 days ago, you had the announcement that JD had signed a historic deal. Again, not a big deal, a historic deal. Remember, before JD and what he did with Sauvage, there had never been a male fragrance perform at the levels that we've seen. We'd never seen that because none had ever outsold female fragrances to become number one. Hey, what's up, Lily? Thanks for 11 months. Hey, Johnny seemed excited. So sweet. Yeah, he seemed almost shy and excited. It's nice. Like I said, it's nice to see somebody succeed after everyone tries to burn your life down. And, I mean, it was, you've got to remember, like I've said, people easily forget this. At one time, you had JD made a comment about a certain orange man at one time, and it gave people ammunition to go at him from really every side. You already had legacy media trying to burn him down, and then you had people like Eve Barlow going out to the Fox News, going out presenting themselves again as the other side of this equation. And they were trying to weaponize. Oh, remember what happened with the orange man? Remember this? Remember that? People forget the shitstorm. They forget how bad it was sometimes. Like there was no, you had voices out there that were attached to him, and you had voices that were popping up, the FOD. I always forget to give them credit. And I hate that because they deserve it. They were one of the first websites that I saw that had access to documentation, real documentation, where you could go in, you could check it out. They did a service, and a very, very good one. They were one of the first places. They, incredibly average, Laura B. They were 3 sources from Go that people could check out and actually see proof. There was nothing else like it. Like typically with cases, you'll have some place cover it, but unlike that, this was a different thing. You know, whether it was promoted by PR, which I think was part of it. You had the Me Too narrative, which was huge. You also have, again, like I said, you have less than you have more fingers on one hand than you have owners of media outlets. So when owners of media outlets decide that you're the bad guy, you're done. No more coverage, and they locked it down. So you had these independent outlets, and you had voices. Many of us were out there. You know, it was interesting to see it build. You know, I never, you know, they like the media and other places, they like to focus on 1 or 2 or 3 people. No, man, there were a lot of people out there. Like I've been fortunate. I picked up a microphone, and for some reason, it worked. You know, I was able to say what a lot of people around me and a lot of people that came before me, they thought. And I like it's been amazing to watch because I never in 2000 and what was it? 19, 20, I don't even remember what year we started this mess. Talking about all of it. It wasn't, I think when the article itself dropped, there was some conversation with it because of Me Too, but never about the crazy. It was the trials. Like when Depp decided to stand up and to actually challenge this stuff, that's when the noise, that's when it got big. And like I said, I never thought at the end of it that we would see stuff like this though. I thought, you know, yes, clear your name, but to be honest, the way that he spoke, I thought he had given up on movies. Just to be honest, I thought he gave up on it. I thought, you know, he would be very successful at art. He'd be very successful with music. I was shocked by the level of success with all of his endeavors. Like not just they were successful, but okay, like art. Anytime he puts something out, bam, millions, just boom, one day, $4 million. You know, I mean, it's crazy. Crashing websites. It was unreal. You know, as you saw that. Then you saw the music. You know, it would come up, sold out. Everybody's attended. You know, again, the world is excited about it. The movie, again, everything is hitting. It's like when you look at an actor in their prime, when you look at a Hollywood person or you know, a person that just hit their mark. And you know what I like about that is it's an older Johnny Depp. He's a smarter Johnny Depp. He's not the you know, no shot at younger Johnny, but you know, when we're all young, I mean, I throw myself in here. We're dumb. We, you know, if we get a taste of any kind of success, we're dumb. We can be, you know, Hollywood especially is like sex, drugs, rock and roll. Now you have Johnny Depp, the guy who has been through the ringer. He actually, he knows the value of stuff, but he also knows the value of the people that are there. That's the one thing I really I like from people like a Depp. Chris Pratt did this recently too. I mean, I like when people celebrate the consumer. And at every turn, that's what we see now. We see, like I said, an unstoppable force right now that has been through the ringer, understands that it's a point of grace to be there. And it's just enjoying the ride right now. I'm sure. And I mean, we heard him when Heard was recording him behind the scenes. driving him to the point of, Minecrafting himself. We heard that. We saw the text where, anger, embittered, frustrated. And then, we saw the trial. We saw that UK shit show. A kangaroo court, a judge that son is employed with the same company that's on trial. I mean, just unreal shit. And it felt like there would never be vindication. I'm sure riding through that, I know for a fact that, talking to people around JD, I mean, they tell you some horrible stories, man. Stories of, soul crushing stuff. Depp, if you piece together the tale from his friends too, they tell you of a person that, he's in denial because he's in an abusive relationship. He's in denial with it. He doesn't, he wants to keep this person around, but also secretly, he's confided in a few people that when he knows that he needs to break away, he knows that she's going to try to destroy him. He knew it was coming. And it's just, like I said, it's just something. It's powerful to see. It's powerful. It's a great testament, great testimonial. 2012, thanks for the 5. Tug, you're an idiot. Yay! JD got the support because AH, the perfect villain. AH helped remake JD by being as nasty as she was, y'all. Want my full Monty shirt? Well, she did do part of that for sure. I mean, she's definitely to blame. Like I said, with the media, again, they all limited everything to the point that you could actually channel success. And yes, she's awesome. She's not as much as she constructed a narrative, she wasn't very bright about it. It's like she set down a tale that she kept fleshing out, but it never freaking materialize proof. That's a problem there. When she would try to materialize proof, like she was like, oh, look, I got a split lip. She tried to pull that in the newest trial. It was outside of the dates that she had ever given. It would have gone all the way to the very beginning of the relationships. And in fact, with quote unquote proof, you had the opposite effect, be like, yeah, you were on a late night show. Oh, you got recorded there. Of course. I mean, so yeah, if he would have had somebody, like I've said from the beginning, and this is a scary thought, if he would have had somebody that would have rolled up, like if AH would have put a roll of quarters in her hand and would have gone to town on herself, in 2016, we'd have a different conversation now. That's a frightening prospect, isn't it? And it really it makes it's horrible to think that, because it makes you doubt, and it shows you the impact of this stuff. It's so crazy. Hey, Cheryl, thanks for the 12 months there. Hey, Tug, happy birthday from fellow Taurus. Thank you. Cracking me up. I'm thrilled for JD. Me too, man. Me too. I'm glad to see it. I am. It says Jay for Brawley. Thanks for the gifted membership too. Thank you for that. Sorry to hit Norm. Thank you there. I mean, the problem becomes the smarter AH. You remember, if you're there thinking, people don't do that kind of stuff, Tom. They don't. Well, let's see, find you something. There was a lady that made the news recently where she had falsely accused multiple people, and she had taken a hammer to herself, and see if I can find that right off the bat. But I mean, you have multiple wrong. I mean, so many wrongful convictions, so many false accusations. You would think after a while that people might actually, they might take a breath there. And again, like I said, with the JD thing, the one thing that gives me pause these days when I look at any case is, can you imagine somebody buying a hammer to self-harm so they can accuse multiple people, And when you have, let's see, like here's an article with, this is going to come from Ann Coulter. Give me a second. Like you have articles that come up all the time. You have the New York Times here, for example. Here was an article with a student ending themselves. And the reason they did it was based on false accusations. They were falsely accused of something. It ended up driving them ultimately to the end there. And like I said, I mean, this happens all the freaking time. Here's the woman that, give me a second. Give me 1 second. I have to find her name real fast. Eleanor Williams. That's who I want to find. I can remember her name. Just give me 1 minute. You gotta see this. So the Sun actually reported this, of all places. Give me a minute here. You can see, so let me show you some footage real fast. It's not going to have any sound to it, but a woman accuses multiple people. Like I said, this shows you that this stuff does happen. So you actually had CCTV footage, no sound here, but you had CCTV footage of this person going to the checkout. They actually, when they do, they get close up of them and what they're buying here. Actually, amongst everything that they're buying, they're picking up. Let's see, where's the hammer in here? This is how they get caught, though. Now, you see the hammer? They're buying an implement that they're going to utilize for a false allegation. I mean, she heard here's the articles on this. This came up in November. So this is not an old situation. And again, this tells you this stuff happens more often than people freaking will talk about. So Eleanor Williams, quote, hurt herself with a hammer before lying about it. Again, the next person that puts somebody in a situation like that, they may roll up that row of quarters. They may buy something and they may harm themselves. And we'd be having a different conversation. That's a frightening idea. Now, I mean, like jurors in the trial of a woman accused of lying about being a victim of Asian grooming gang. They were shown a hammer that she had allegedly used to hurt herself. And again, she was convicted. But the photographs of her, they showed a person with a swollen eye, cut finger, bruises on her arms and in her legs. I mean, she had all of these injuries there. The injuries, she had like circular marks and stuff, because again, she took a hammer to her face. She took a freaking hammer to her face. And like I said, that stuff is frightening. Because who's to say the next person that does that to somebody won't be one of those. Burnett, thanks for the 2 months there. Thanks for being there for all of us. Hey, thank you all for being there. Again, I think there's an important thing that we're all talking about. We can fundamentally disagree on many things in life, but the one thing I think we all agree on is the fact that survivors deserve justice. And part of justice is rooting out false accusers, because they take away. They are a detriment. They create more victims, and they're a detriment to survivors. I think we all agree on that. We can disagree on everything else in life, but I think fundamentally, if people don't see that as a problem, when I see some of these people that try to stand off against this, I'm like, are we living in the same world? What kind of miserable, horrible people are those? So, I mean, I appreciate you all, because, if I were to listen to the media, if I were just standing out there and I was seeing their shit show that they put on, I would feel like I was going nuts, because you see reality and they're like, no. The earth is flat. You're like, what? No, it's not. And they're like, oh, flat earth, baby, flat earth. And you're like, no. And again, anytime you want to think about stupid people too, remember there are a lot of people that truly do believe in flat earth. So if you ever want to think, man, there's a lot of stupid people out there. Yeah, there really are. Flat earth, baby, flat earth. Hey, Kathy, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And Wong, thanks for two. I hear a hammer and Mario 3 music plays in my head. Indeed, the Hammer Brothers. That's what I think. I have 3 sons. 2 have already sworn off marriage. True North. You see, that's a sad thing. But in my own profession, I see. So we'll have interns come in. And interns. One of the things I used to enjoy doing was providing mentorship, showing people like the way that like therapy or mental health would work behind the scenes, talking about stuff that you won't read in a textbook. A textbook can't tell you what it's like to deal with a schizophrenic. A schizophrenic that is just come back from a hospital after a psychotic break. Yeah, you'll read the words maybe, but you won't understand that. And at one time, like I said, I liked working with interns. I thought it was good passing on information. The problem is now I won't close the door with somebody in there. I'll close it with a client because that's part of a job. Actually, I don't do client individual now, but you know what I mean. That's part of it. But as far as that, or even, one of the problems too, okay, this is a problem with work. A lot of workplaces at one time, they would bring you in for a counseling and education, a warning, as it were. You would have something it's off the books. It's just telling you, hey, there's a problem here. Fix this. Now you have a lot of workplaces, they go through direct disciplinary action because they don't want to be accused of any kind of impropriety. If this person continues, they'll bring in multiple witnesses and it brings in a formalized process. I mean, it's done damage. You have people that are afraid. I mean, we have accusations of sexual harassment. There was a lawsuit because a guy, he would sign everything with a smiley face, his work ones. One day he messed up and hit the winky face, a little wink there. Yeah, somebody sued him for sexual harassment over a winky face on an email. So people, they don't become friendly. They don't help one another. I mean, it's done real damage. There's true detriment to this kind of stuff. It's created an environment where people don't trust. Specifically, men do not trust because, and then we have cases that are horrible as well. There was a case where a conviction was overturned because a a man decided to give a woman a ride home from a bar. She was drunk. He didn't want her to get taken advantage of. And what does she do the next day? She accuses him of something horrific because she wanted to make her friends feel bad. She later ends up admitting the truth, but sent somebody to prison for that. So people, they don't want to be good Samaritans. They don't want to help out other people. No good deed goes unpunished truly has become a mantra. And it's sad. Again, you look, the difference between a Depp and most people is that most people, they can't get the word of what happened to them out to millions of folks. They don't have $30 million to spend in litigation as well. I mean, it's just, it's unreal. Now, JD is starting to be made whole as far as restitution is concerned. He'll never get the money back from what AH did, like the money it took, the millions. Like that's lost money. But with $20 million, that's almost making back Pirates, the last movie. All of these movies, they're gonna turn the money faucet back on. And JD's in a better place too. Back in the day, one thing that is a positive on the other side of this is JD, the substance abuser, he's trying to control all of that. So spending, he's not spending lavish amounts on whatever that is. Actually, the business partners that would screw him over in the past that stole all that money from him, those people are gone too. So again, with the reset, there are positives for him. There definitely. Nobody would want to go down the road to get to those positives. But on this side of it, when he gets that, not only is he going to be made whole, but the people who steal money from you, yeah, they're no longer around anymore. And he trimmed off a lot of the fat, as it were, with useless agents and more, which we'll talk about in just a second. 2012, thanks for the 2. Look up Michelle Carter and now journos. Let's see, Michelle Carter. Michelle Carter. Give me a second. I mean, there's a lot of. We could pull up cases all freaking day. Oh, yeah. Michelle Carter, subject of The Girl from Plainsville. Yeah. She's been seen for the first time since her release from jail in January 2020. She was convicted of involuntary manslaughter related to the death of her 18-year-old boyfriend. Give me 1 second. It's just... I remember that, actually. I remember that case. I remember that case very well, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't realize she was out. Huh. You can pull that up. It's actually a good thing to know, too. Michelle Carter. Real girl from Plainsville. So, Carter made headlines in 2014 to 2015 when a Massachusetts judge ruled that her words through texting and phone calls coerced 18-year-old Roy into taking his own life. I think everybody probably remembers that case. She thought that she would walk away. She basically was like, get back in the car, do all this terrible stuff. Again, you have monsters and manipulators. So this is actually a very good point by 2012 too, about what manipulators are. You have people, when people are at a low place, they're vulnerable. They get around the right people that know they're the wrong people to be around, but the right people to manipulate in that moment. They're the right people to push specific buttons. They know how to coerce. Those folks, they can drive people to an end. And again, I said the JD case is a learning lesson. It's been a learning lesson, and I hope it's a lesson. Like, one of the reasons that I like accenting the end of it, and I like accenting both sides of it. I like to show you the upper ups for JD and the low lows for AH is because I want to make the point that the jackasses out there that will do this, they might not give a shit about another person, but they care about themselves. And if you do this and you get caught, if you destroy somebody, that's what you're going to make your fame off of, destroying another person's life, falsely trying to wreck them. At the end of the day, you may go down in a blaze of glory. You know, your career gone, everything gone, nothing left at all. You may go the way that AH is gone. I mean, she's ended up fleeing the United States, selling off property. I mean, she's going somewhere. She's gone as far from fame as she can. And fame was the whole reason there. I mean, she went gone, girl. It didn't work out. It's unreal. And, you know, she could have walked away from that relationship. What's crazy, and I hate this I'm glad that JD spoke up, because at the end of the day, it may cost him everything for half a decade, but at the end of it, it told everyone else what was happening behind the scenes. So there are no more JDs when it comes to an AH. That person individually, they are known for what they are, because again, you know, there were other relationships they were in. They were volatile. They were nasty. You know, all this stuff was going on. So that was already there. That was already happening. And it continued. I mean, it continued into relationships. There are rumors about it continuing into other relationships as well. And if somebody didn't take a stand on an individual basis, that needed to be noted. But beyond that, too, it also told so many people. It said, it challenged the narrative that abuse is just this, you know, men are monsters, women are aggrieved parties, and that's that. It added individualism to it. And it said the individual can be a survivor, the individual can be an inflictor. You judge every case as it is. You know, it's cautionary tale. It's cautionary tale also. I do see the media is pissed off that they lost me too. And you know, one of the reasons they're mad about that is because they thrived on accusations. Look at how much mileage they got out of any of the accusers. Look how much mileage they get out of it. And they were allowed to point their finger, to do their little dance, and to say, oh, those people right there. One case really single-handedly took it away from them. It changed that. So I'm glad. I'm glad that 5 year, long 5 years. Because you're talking 5 years of, I'm not just saying 5 years from go. I mean, really, with AH, you have to figure, he said, you know, it was good in the relationship for a little while, but after a little while, it wasn't. So, you know, nobody ever rewinds time and actually says, hey, you know, the relationship to X, like all of it forward, that's all the years that went in. But the 5 years, I mean, you're talking about 5 hard years where everything was against you. Like, that's rough. That's a rough go. And I mean, still, the media is still there. The media is still trying to put their teeth in. And they're going to get, you know, they're going to be nasty all the way up through Aquaman, I'm sure. They'll probably continue to be nasty. But as long as they feel that there's any hope for the revitalization of AH's name or career, they will continue this PR battle. And they'll also continue it on an individual basis. They'll trade on it. You know, you got to remember people like a Kat Tinbarge, for example. Kat Tinbarge was an intern and became a quote-unquote reporter, a journalist off of this stuff because shilling for AH. You know, when they tell you they don't make any money. Yeah, they don't make any money, baby. 2012? Thanks to the 2 there. JD also showed corporations or people messed up. Well, that's true. The companies, it did highlight the idea that not just corporations, it highlighted that a lot of them have skeletons in their closets. When they're out there and they're miming, lip service to the idea that they stand with victims or they do this or they believe. You got to remember, what's happening behind the closed doors. They're settling cases. They're paying off people not to tell the truth. And they're terrified. I mean, if you look at the case, JD's lawyers, they representing now against a Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers seems terrified that the baggage is going to come out and people are actually going to see them for who and what they are. But anyway, so tomorrow we'll have a fun video. There's 2 other videos that need to be made too. I mean, again, I find it, like I said, I find it all fascinating. I find the success fascinating to see. The people who oppose it, I find that fascinating too. And it ain't going away anytime. I mean, again, you're just now seeing JD's career take off. And as long as when he's on the rise, these people are also always going to be trying to destroy him. That's the thing about sooner or later, one day AH will join in this. She's right now, she's on the victim kick. I'm a mother, just whatever. Because she's trying to let the sound die down on her side. But she won't be able to take it long because ultimately she doesn't get any headlines off of it. When you're talking about people who feed on that, narcissists who need it, they need the validation. Oh, they'll be back. They'll definitely be back. So, JD's career, I mean, again, the public decides. Ultimately, the money that the public pumped in, Dior, I believe, was the catalyst for JD's career. When Dior came out and credited him with billions made, not helping the company make billions, but himself bringing in that much money, I think that was a catalyst for that. Because again, advertisers. And then you have advertisers coming in with every event that he has been in when he's popped up. He's proven that. Again, art sales, music. He's shown that he can sell items. That's how you come back right there. At the end of the day, places didn't just have to be convinced of his innocence. They had to be convinced that if they backed him, they would be able to be made financially whole. Because ultimately, Hollywood, all of this stuff, all of the narratives that they throw out, the things that they say about standing with and everything else, they just go where the tide goes. That's why I get so irritated with them saying that they do things for anything. They use a survivor as a buzzword, just like they use diversity or inclusion. They're buzzwords to them. They don't mean anything. And that's why I always get irritated with the way that these places play, because, they don't mean any of it. If tomorrow if tomorrow a specific type of hate made money and they could get away with it, they'd be all over it. They would. They'd be all over it, and they would. Because, ultimately, they're already doing that now. But anyway, I'm going to end here. I think it's been a good day. We had a fun live stream. A lot of people popped up. We had 1,000 people. That was crazy. It's been crazy considering, at the beginning of live streams, like the way YouTube has been, I'll have a certain amount waiting, and I'm thinking, well, I wonder if this is going to work or not today. And again, you folks, you pop up every day. So I appreciate you. I do. I'm glad we can have these conversations. We'll see soon too. I'm curious. We'll have to go over the Danny Masterson trial soon enough, because Danny Masterson, you're going to, it'll be fascinating to see where that lands. I wonder if we'll get another mistrial or what we'll see with that. So we'll talk about that when it comes up. There's still a lot more going on with Marilyn Manson. Again, there's so many other trials out there too. But this, like I said, it is still fascinating to me. Oh, so anyway, I want to call it here. Like I said, I appreciate you folks. And yeah, we may do it again tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I appreciate you folks. Thank you.